To this conversation now, tributes continue to pour in for gospel legend Zanele Mbokazi-Nkambule, who succumbed to lung cancer in the early hours of this morning. The 52-year-old Crown Gospel Awards founder passed away at the Parklands Hospital in Durban after falling ill in April of this year. As we continue to celebrate Mbokazi-Nkambule's legacy, I'm joined now by Reverend Musa Zondi. He is the KZN MEC for Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs. And Reverend, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time. Let's begin with your reaction on the passing of Uma ZZ, as she was affectionately known.
Hey, Polly, and the viewers of Newzroom Afrika, we are completely devastated. You know, you won't believe it, because hardly 2 weeks ago, Mazz was here in my office, accompanied by her husband, to come and talk about other new initiatives. She was hopeful in spite of the challenges of health that she was facing. We had hoped to meet again soon, even though we could see that she was struggling. But she was beaming with hope, and she was always willing to keep the flag of tourism in KwaZulu-Natal flying high, and she had high hopes that she would be part and parcel of the new initiatives, and of course in pursuing the current initiatives about which she is well known.
Yeah.
And therefore it's a heavy loss for us in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, and I think even beyond it in the field of tourism and culture.
Before we talk about the possible contributions to the tourism element of the economy in KZN, how big a gap do you think she leaves in the church/gospel community? How big a void is that?
A big gap, because, you know, she found a niche and she ran with it. And when she started with what eventually became known as the Crown Gospel Awards, it started as a small initiative, but it ended up as a colossal issue and a matter. And she will go down in history as someone who would nurture a dream and see it to its fruition. And we had no doubt that she had a very heavy and positive impact on the church community and the gospel industry as such, especially in catapulting onto the stage those gospel music groups who were hardly known, and promoting them to the vast community of the province of KwaZulu-Natal and the country as a whole.
She had a huge listenership. She had a huge following on Ukhozi FM, and it only made sense as Ukhozi started posting and reflecting on just how big a loss this was for them. How big a void do you think she has left in the media side of things?
Well, I started following her actually from her days in Ukhozi. I was a big fan of her, and I know how much huge following she commanded in Ukhozi. And when she left a void. But of course, she had to go for greater heights, and we can't hold that against her, because we think that she was a woman who was always driven by a vision for greater things that she was called upon in life to do. And therefore, that followership, the fact that followership in the radio space has not subsided, is testimony to the fact, to the impact that she had where she actually began.
Yeah. Let's then talk about the contribution to the KwaZulu-Natal tourism sector, whether it is through the Crown Gospel Awards or any other activities that would have had to do with either church gatherings or indeed the awards. How massive a contribution do these events bring to the economy of KZN? And might this be one of those gaps that she leaves?
Indeed, it's a big gap because the kind of financial injection she made into the economy of the province of KwaZulu-Natal, where the Crown Gospel Awards were staged over the years, cannot be overestimated. She leaves a gap, and we think and hope that other people will come in and close that gap. But it was uniquely hers. It was uniquely Zanele Mbokazi-Nkambule's gap. And I'm sure that most groups that got promoted onto the center stage because of her efforts through the Crown Gospel Awards will sorely miss her contribution. And us, as people in charge of the tourism sector and the economy of KwaZulu-Natal, we are sorry to leave. To be left without her, because whatever she was doing, one could look at it as though it was an activity in the church social sphere, but we know that at the end of the day, it brought a lot of visitors to this province, and therefore it generated a lot of revenue via tourism and boosted our economy in KwaZulu-Natal.
Yeah. Music, especially gospel music, is the life and soul of a people, of a nation. How do you think she'll be remembered?
Well, I think she will be remembered like a good soldier who died with her boots fighting, because, as I say, hardly 2 weeks ago, she was here to present to me, together with her husband, Bishop Nkambule, a new project which was still in the planning stage, which she wanted to launch in cooperation with us and the eThekwini municipality, as well as, of course, with the Zulu royal family and His Majesty the King. And all this in order to promote the tourism sector of KwaZulu-Natal as well as South Africa as a whole. And it's devastating that she's no more. Of course, we know that she had not been in a good space for quite some time, but we were hopeful that she was going to see this at least off the ground and at least see the first offering of her ideas, because they were worthy of support. Yes. And therefore we are left devastated. But we should take this opportunity to convey our condolences to her family and her next of kin, and in particular her husband, Bishop Nkambule. Even thank him for the support that he gave Zanele to the end. And our condolences also go to all role players in the industry and all her colleagues in the industry. KwaZulu-Natal will be left poorer without her contribution and presence. She was larger than life, and she will be sorely missed.
Reverend Musa Zondi, I want to thank you very much for your time and reflections tonight, reflecting on the life and times of Miss Zanele Mbokazi-Nkambule, affectionately known as UmaZZ. Well, she is no more, and condolences to the family. Indeed, as the MEC reflecting tonight. He is the MEC for Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs in KZN.